All right, man, peace. You know, when you're a young man and you're fortunate enough to have a strong male figure in your life, hopefully your father, sometimes you might have a difficult time ascertaining the tough love that he gives you and the lessons that he teaches you. But when you grow older, you understand why he taught you certain things, and you understand the way in which he taught them and how necessary it was that he utilize those mechanisms. Well, Kobe Bryant right now is trying to utilize quote-unquote tough love and male energy with LeBron James. And the liberal sports media, they operate on such a feminine vibration that they're having a hard time understanding why Kobe Bryant is saying what he's saying and for what reason. So now they've come to the conclusion that the reason why Kobe Bryant is trying to advise their god LeBron James is because he quote-unquote doesn't want LeBron in LA. They believe that Kobe Bryant is making these statements because Kobe Bryant thinks that it's going to take some shine away from his career if LeBron James comes to LA and wins. Not understanding that Kobe Bryant's legacy is already written. Kobe's mature enough to understand that he's already moved forward. He's got his 5 championships and 2 losses. LeBron has his 3 championships and 6 losses. I'm already on record as saying that I would pick LeBron over Kobe just as a raw overall player. Many people disagree with that. When I say many people, I'm talking about Kobe Bryant's cult. Now, there are things that Kobe brings to the table that LeBron James doesn't. But there are things that LeBron brings to the table that Kobe doesn't. It's a good debate. And once again, as I've already stated, I have LeBron at a firm 6 after those finals, and I have to sit back and reevaluate whether or not I should have LeBron as high as 6. Because I may have to honestly drop him below Wilt Chamberlain, Shaq, Hakeem, and or Tim Duncan. We'll see. I have to think about that. I have to meditate on that. But the fact of the matter is that Kobe Bryant, as I stated in another video, is giving him sage wisdom that was imparted upon him. And the media is having a hard time dealing with that because, as I mentioned in the LeVar Ball video, they don't want any sign of patriarchy. They don't want any sign of alpha manhood being utilized anymore for public display. So they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Oh, the question on everyone's minds, even before the Warriors won the championship, was where should LeBron play next season? Well, Kobe Bryant had this to say to Bleacher Report. If I'm Bron, you gotta figure out a way to win. It's not about narrative.
Thank you, sir. Did you see what he stated? Kobe stated it's not about narrative. In other words, no more excuses, my nigga. You have to get the job done. That's what it's about. Remember when Dwight Howard signed with the LA Lakers? Kobe was trying to utilize the Kobe system. When I say the Kobe system, I'm talking about the Mamba mentality on Dwight Howard. And Dwight could not receive it because Dwight is not an alpha male. He wasn't able to deal with that male energy from Kobe. And look, I have my issues with Kobe in regards to some of his mechanisms, his machinations, but no one can doubt the fact that he is an alpha male and that he has strong male energy. But the real issue is that his male energy is so strong that it has to be tempered by a great coach. And that's why Dwight Howard is even on record as stating that he thinks that their time together would have been more fruitful had Phil Jackson been the coach, because Dwight Howard understands the importance that Phil Jackson always places on the big man in his system. Being there with Kobe without a Phil Jackson, and then on top of that, you have Mike D'Antoni, that idiot, as the coach. That's like being home with an abusive babysitter. You're waiting for your parents to get home, and for them 2 hours, the babysitter is just giving you hell, slapping you upside the head and everything.
You want to win championships, you just got to figure it out. Now, according to Bavada, the Lakers are the favorites to land the king. Max Kellerman.
Yep.
We have a debate often, MJ, LeBron, right? We don't really get in Kobe Bryant anymore. And now apparently he could go play with the Lakers. If you're Kobe, how would you feel if LeBron went to your team?
I think
if you're Kobe Bryant, you don't feel anything. You hope for the best if you truly love that franchise. I don't think that Kobe Bryant is worried about LeBron James coming to the Lakers and quote-unquote outdoing him. I think Kobe's very secure in what he's accomplished with the Lakers. I think that he understands in his mind and the way in which he evaluates greatness that LeBron is never going to catch him. Because LeBron is 3-6 right now. LeBron has to win like 6 more championships for him to be in a conversation with Kobe in Kobe's mind. In Kobe's mind. because that's how he evaluates greatness. Kobe is trying to impart words of wisdom onto LeBron so that he can stop using all these excuses, because he knows how bad LeBron is looking right now to that echelon of great players, because Kobe has conversations with the Michael Jordans and the Larry Birds and the Magic Johnsons, and he knows how they really feel about LeBron James off camera.
I think if I'm Kobe, I'd be fine with it.
Remember that interview that Kobe Bryant had with Ahmad Rashad, where he stated that he's that guy that would tell you if you have something stuck in between your teeth? That's how I view this little situation with him and LeBron. You have certain people in your life, if you're fortunate enough to meet them, that care about you enough to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Because Kobe is setting up the narrative. Like, LeBron's not the only one who's good at controlling narrative. Kobe is excellent at it. Kobe's more subtle. I hear Kobe work the media. I hear him work the fans.
Yep.
And it's not that he's like there with an agenda to do it, but Kobe has one of the highest IQs I've encountered among athletes.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. Kobe Bryant is highly intelligent. There's no doubt about that.
He doesn't obviously have a lot of formal education because he went straight from high school to the NBA.
Highly intelligent.
But he's extremely bright.
Interesting.
And so he has a way of framing things that make a lot of sense and also are in his best interest, including why he needs the ball the most. And
I think that what Kobe has stated is not particularly in his best interest. I think that what he's stating is in the best interest of that brotherhood of great players that Kobe knows LeBron is trying to join, or LeBron is currently in the process of grafting himself into even further. Kobe's trying to help LeBron become his best self. And he's trying to imbue him with the quote-unquote Mamba mentality, which is really just Luciferianism when we get down to it. But Kobe mixes that with a lot of male energy. So you have to understand what Kobe's trying to communicate.
and things like that. And also in these kind of arguments, look, Kobe's saying you just have to figure out a way to get it done. So let's say LeBron goes to LA and they don't land Kawhi Leonard, and it's LeBron and Paul George and Kuzma and Ingram. Well, on paper, it's going to look pretty good. LeBron had enough. Why didn't he win a championship? Which he won't with that cast of characters, given the state of the Golden State Warriors and Houston Rockets and others who are likely to improve. And we're going to hit. Kobe's going to be able to sit there, and others will say, hey, even after Shaq, Kobe was able to win with Pau Gasol. Never mind that Pau Gasol was a Hall of Fame talent.
Thank you, sir. And many of the members of Kobe Bryant's cult don't want to acknowledge that. They prefer to talk down and tear down many of Kobe's teammates because they believe that that's going to vault Kobe up above many of the other preeminent players in the history of the NBA. But Pau Gasol was one of the most skilled big men in the NBA, and one could make the case that he had the most diverse assortment of post moves other than maybe Tim Duncan at that time period in the NBA in the late 2000s. Pau Gasol could be a devastating half-court threat when he was properly utilized. And of course, this was all due to the fact that Phil Jackson forced Kobe Bryant to utilize Pau Gasol.
In his prime with Kobe, and a great second banana. And there was no team. I know the Celtics' big three. That was not like the Warriors. Just stop everyone. They won one. Stop everyone. Stop.
They won one, but that Boston Celtics team played non-for-real defense, especially in those finals. And by the way, I saw Kobe Bryant give up in Game 6 of those 2008 finals. He definitely gave up. I've seen Kobe Bryant give up in many series in the playoffs. We saw him give up in 06 against the Phoenix Suns. We saw him give up in 08 against the Boston Celtics. Hell, in 2011, we saw his team come apart when they got swept by the Dallas Mavericks. Remember Andrew Bynum committed that rather grotesque flagrant foul? Kobe Bryant lost his composure. In 2012, he lost his composure again when they lost to the OKC Thunder.
Stop. They were a great team. It was nothing like the Golden State Warriors. They were simply not nearly that dominant.
If the Golden State Warriors of 2018 played in 2008 against the Boston Celtics, they would have had a very hard time. Because the level of defense that the Boston Celtics could play with Tony Allen and Rajon Rondo, that would have given the Golden State Warriors an hellacious time in the half-court set.
At their best, nor over the long haul. And yet, Kobe did amazing things. Won 2 championships out of 3 seasons, with Pau Gasol as his second banana. But he knows, I think, LeBron comes to LA, fails to do it with Paul George. The way it's going to sound in history is like, hold up, Kobe had Lamar Odom also and Andrew Bynum, but those names will...
Once again, during that time period in the late 2000s, the Pau Gasol, Andrew Bynum, Lamar Odom front court was viewed as the most dominant front court in the NBA. People forget about that.
Names will fade a little bit as time goes on.
Those names have already started to fade, Max Kellerman. Let me rewind this back a little bit, because Max, he's bringing a little heat right here. I got to give him credit.
And people... History, the way it's going to sound in history, it's like, hold up, Kobe had Lamar Odom also and Andrew Bynum, but those names will fade a little bit as time goes on.
Absolutely, because the Kobe Bryant cult will make them fade.
And people be like, LeBron had Paul George and a couple other cats. What happened? I think Kobe's aware that if LeBron goes to L.A., the odds are long that he wins a championship. That makes Kobe look better, not worse.
I don't think Kobe wants LeBron to lose. I don't think Kobe wants LeBron to come up short of champ.
Neither do I. I think that Kobe is just trying to imbue him with a little bit of quote-unquote Mamba mentality. But what Kobe's leaving out is the fact that he himself had a Svengali who assisted him on how to use players because he played in a real system. That's what Kobe's leaving out.
Championships or whatever. I think champions appreciate greatness and they appreciate championships. I think what Kobe really, really wants is for LeBron to be attached with the same level of accountability as himself and others. Kobe was a pariah outside of Laker Nation by a lot of people. They wanted to hate on him. I'm talking strictly basketball. I ain't bringing nothing else into the equation. I'm talking strictly basketball. You have people who wanted to hate on him, but would marvel at him in the same breath. He came in, he walked like MJ, he spoke, his monotone, his delivery, his presentation, etc., etc. So
yeah, he was trying to channel Michael Jordan.
So much of it seemed similar, but then he came on the scene and eventually backed it up with his play and got to a point where Michael Jordan stated that he was the one guy that he feared, had a shot at knocking me off that pedestal because he loved Kobe's mentality. And I said this story. Kobe Bryant looked me dead in my face. He said,
what Michael Jordan actually stated is that he believed that Kobe Bryant is the only player in NBA history who could have beaten him one-on-one. That's what he said. I've never heard him state anything about Kobe Bryant being able to overcome him or usurp him as being the NBA's #1 all-time greatest player, because Michael Jordan has never publicly acknowledged that he believes that he's the NBA's all-time greatest player. Not publicly. Now, privately, of course, we know that's a different story. But Jordan has always been very diplomatic publicly when discussing who the greatest all-time player is in the NBA's history. What he has stated publicly is that he believes that Kobe Bryant is the only player who could have beaten him in a one-on-one, and he followed it up by stating that the reason why he believed that is because Kobe stole all his moves.
because he loved Kobe's mentality. And I've often said this story. Kobe Bryant looked me dead in my face. He said, y'all talk all of this stuff about MJ or whatever. He said, but I wish I was going up against him in his prime. I'd have gave it to him. This is what he said to me.
Let me say this very quickly. This is the reason why I believe that had the 2001 Lakers played the 91 or the 92 or the 93 Bulls, they would have ended up losing to the Bulls, because the Bulls would have suckered Kobe Bryant into a one-on-one. Jordan would have talked trash to him the entire game to try to provoke him into taking bad shots because they know his mentality. Kobe has a hard time resisting that mano-a-mano paradigm. And they would have just put Jordan on him defensively for a couple of possessions. Then they would have put Pippen on him. And they would have gotten him to take his team out of their team concept. And Shaq would have gotten frustrated. Kobe would have started jacking up a bunch of wild jump shots, trying to show Jordan that he was better than him. And next thing you know, it would have been the third quarter, and the Bulls would have been up 75-61, and the Lakers would have been on the sideline bickering with one another, because Kobe would be 8 for 25 in the game. Jordan would be something like 11 for 18, and Pippen would be 9 for 15 from the field. And they'd be asking him, why are you trying to go one-on-one with this guy for? We have to stick to the team concept.
And I'm laughing and like that. He was like, ask him. He know. And so what did I do? I picked up the phone, I called MJ. MJ started laughing. Yeah, he said that to me. He told me to my face. Yes, he has.
And that's why Michael Jordan respects Kobe so much. Because Kobe sincerely believes that he's better than Michael Jordan. And he sincerely believes that he would beat Michael Jordan one-on-one. And Michael also understands that Kobe possibly could beat him one-on-one, because that man gets so hot I've never seen an NBA player that could get hotter than Kobe Bryant. And Kobe's not the only guy who could have beat Michael Jordan one-on-one. When you're talking about elite level basketball players, there's a tournament that's on YouTube that some of you brothers could check out. In the late 80s, there was a tournament where prominent NBA players played in a 3-on-3 with other celebrities. It was Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, Isaiah Thomas, and Larry Bird. And they all played with, I believe, 2 or 3 other celebrities on their team in a tournament against one another. And Larry Bird's team won the tournament. And Larry Bird had no problem scoring on Michael Jordan. Rick Fox once told a story about Larry Bird when he was a rookie. Rick Fox was drafted by the Boston Celtics. And he said he played Larry Bird one-on-one in one of his early practices with the Celtics. Mind you, Rick Fox was drafted in 1991. So his first season was the 91-92 season, which was Bird's last season. And he said Larry Bird played him one-on-one, and Larry Bird told him, I'm going to shut you out in this one-on-one, and I'm not even going to move from this one spot. And Bird stayed in one spot. Rick Fox checked him to basketball, and Bird beat him something like 8-0 or 12-0, and he never once moved out of that one spot. So when you're talking about all-time great NBA players, it's very easy for them to play one-on-one. Very easy.
Because Kobe wasn't playing. Yeah. That's how he felt. And one of the things they have, the greatness of the Kobes, the MJs, and others, that they can't stand when there's a different standard set for other people, and all the great ones have that in common. I'm telling y'all, I get my phone blows up all the time, and the number one complaint that I get from champions who are Hall of Famers who were great: how come you letting cats off the hook?
Yeah,
why don't you hold them and say, did you do that with me? Would you have done that with MJ? That's what they're big on that.
Kobe's not a little bit annoyed that he's not in the MJ conversation because passed LeBron and he's got 5 rings?
That's not.
Well, he's definitely annoyed about that, but I don't think that he's that concerned about it because Kobe Bryant embraced the anti-hero archetype. So he has to understand that down the line in his life, he's not going to be as acclaimed as other players. Very much like an Isaiah Thomas, who embraced that same archetype, that anti-hero archetype. So unfortunately for Isaiah, unless you were fortunate enough to see him play, or you're educated enough on what he was able to do during his NBA career, you don't know how great and how impactful he was. And Kobe's going to have to come to terms with that as well. He's never going to be mentioned amongst the players who could be considered for the greatest of all time. Number one, for the simple fact that he's considered to be a Michael Jordan clone and a player who was not even as good as Michael Jordan. So that's truly what's going to hurt him in the long run, is that his style of play is so directly linked to Michael Jordan, and Jordan is viewed as a greater version of him. So that is truly what is going to hurt Kobe Bryant in the quote-unquote GOAT evaluations in the long run. That his style is so directly linked to Michael Jordan. There are no real clear differences in how they played, and basically, Michael Jordan did everything better. He was a better defender, he was a better shot blocker, he was a more proficient shooter. Kobe Bryant took more long-range shots, but their shooting percentage from 3 is about equivalent. So there's really nothing that Kobe Bryant did definitively better than Michael Jordan. Now, when you look at LeBron James, people are going to look at the stats that he's accumulated. When you look at a Wilt Chamberlain or Magic Johnson or a Bill Russell or a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, those are players that are very disparate from Jordan. So what's always going to hurt Kobe Bryant in the long run in regards to the quote-unquote GOAT conversation is 2 things. Number 1, that anti-hero persona, and number 2, the fact that his style is almost solely based off of Michael Jordan.
No. That's a different question. That's a different argument. I'm talking about I thought the question was pertaining if LeBron came to LA.
I think that adds to it. Because of that, you're passing me over. Now you're in my city.
That's fine. But because Kobe has faith in Laker Nation. And Kobe knows that Laker Nation will hold him accountable
I want to piggyback
in ways
off
that others might not.
That's right. That's exactly right. We're a debate show, but there are times where we agree. If you talk to teammates of Jordan, who Jordan and Kobe had in common, were competitors, guys they competed against when Jordan was still, before he retired the second time, when he was still on the Bulls, they'll tell you the same thing. All of them who I've spoken to behind the scenes. Jordan was better.
Of course. And that's Dennis Rodman, that's Ron Harper, that's Horace Grant. Those are all the players who played with both Kobe and Michael, and they all know the truth.
If you look at the analytics, Jordan was better. He also won more titles. Jordan's a little bit better than Kobe Bryant. But what's unfair from Kobe's point of view is Kobe and Jordan are as apples to apples as it gets.
Yeah.
The thing about Kobe that deserves respect is that he tried to be better than the best ever, doing what the best ever did. Same game, same size, same position, same game, as similar as it could be. And went right after him. Fastball hitter to fastball, like, a guy throws 100 against the fastball hitter, and Kobe's challenging him with the fastball. So I agree with you about this, Stephen A. Kobe's like, as it pertains to LeBron, it's already asymmetrical. LeBron's not just doing MJ, he's doing something else. So it's not apples to apples.
Agreed.
And on top of that, it seems the standards are different for LeBron. I think that's a correct point by Kobe. I will point out.
Before I let Max Kellerman continue, let me just say that, as I've already stated in other videos, LeBron James represents basically the ultimate manifestation of the Oscar Robertson style of play. That being all aspects of the offense revolve around me, and he's pretty much like Oscar Robertson 2.0. So that's where he's disparate from Michael Jordan. That's why he's viewed as someone who could be compared to Michael Jordan in regards to an overall evaluation of who was greater. Now, for those of us who understand the game, we know that there are wrinkles to Michael Jordan that keep him separate from or disparate from LeBron in regards to his ability to play off the ball and come up big in the clutchest moments. LeBron has been able to reclaim a clutch moniker in his last couple of postseasons, but Jordan was basically clutch for his entire career. And clutchness is not just about you being able to hit big shots in the last 5 seconds of the game. Clutch is coming up with the big steal, the big rebound, the big shot block, the big jump shot with 7 minutes left to stretch a lead that is around 6 or 7 points out to 9 or 10 points. These are all things that Michael Jordan was able to do consistently. And that's the difference, or one of the differences.
Kobe wasn't held to the standard of getting 8 straight finals. LeBron has been to 8 straight finals, almost always with an undermanned squad. He's won 3 finals, once against a 73-win team.
You know what? That whole getting to 8 straight finals, that will hold a lot more weight if LeBron was at least able to win the majority of his finals. You getting to 8 straight finals and only winning 3, what that tells me is that your conference is rather weak. And then on top of that, 2 of the 3 finals that he won really should have went to the other team. I mean, let's be frank about that. They're down 3-2 at home in Miami, and if Ray Allen does not hit that shot, the series is over. They're down 3-1, and if Draymond Green doesn't try to do a karate chop at LeBron James's balls, they go back to Golden State for Game 5 with a relatively fully manned Golden State squad, and they're going to lose that game. And most people acknowledge that. I think that if LeBron James was 6-2 in those 8 straight finals, then that would be a much bigger deal. But you're just getting back to the finals every year and losing for the most part, or should have lost, tells me that you're playing in a very, very weak conference. And beyond that, the teams in the Western Conference are smarter than you in regards to a team IQ level. LeBron has an unbelievable basketball IQ, but he's unable to understand it from a team perspective. Because at this point in his career, I don't know if he's able to allow himself to be coached.
Fair.
Kobe didn't have to do that.
Not fair.
Why?
And here's why. Because LeBron James handpicked scenarios and situations. You elected to go to Miami, and you knew that you would be joined by D-Wade and Chris Bosh and the crew. You go back to Cleveland, but when you went back to Cleveland, you knew you had Kyrie, and you knew that Dan Gilbert and those boys was going to get you Kevin Love. The point is, Kobe stood up there in L.A., knowing that Shaq was going and all the stuff was on the show. Well, that's right. I agree with that. I feel that way too. The point.
It's not about feeling that way, it's the truth. Kobe Bryant chased Shaq out, and he requested trades away from the Lakers 3 times while he was there.
Point is that he did it and said, hell with it, it's on my shoulders, and I have nothing.
No. First he went to Jerry Buss and said, I want out.
Thank you, Max Kellerman. Thank you for nullifying that idiotic narrative that Stephen A. Smith is trying to promote, and he knows damn well that's the truth. talking about, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to do it. And this is nonsense that a lot of Kobe Bryant sinker fans try to promote. Kobe Bryant stuck with his team and LeBron keeps trying to run. No, Kobe Bryant wanted to run too. It's just that Jerry Buss told him, look, nigga, you're going to stay your ass here and you're going to keep picking this damn cotton for me.
Then Buss said, you ain't going to be out. Then Kobe said, fine, get me somebody.
That's not true. Because Kobe had the freedom to leave. He's going to go to Chicago. But after he let go of Shaq.
All right, still counting. The Warriors have another.
But anyway, that's pretty much it on that. We've already resolved this sentiment, but we already know, yes, Kobe Bryant was going to go to Chicago back in 2004, but he decided to stay with the LA Lakers franchise because Shaq was leaving. So pretty much he forced the Laker upper management to get rid of Shaq. And in 2007, he requested a trade to the Chicago Bulls, in which Jerry Buss told him that you can kick rocks. You are going to stay with the franchise. And also in 2000, after they won their first championship, Jerry West is on record as stating that Kobe Bryant requested a trade at that point. So it is what it is. There's a big difference between the truth and narrative. But just getting back to the topic of the video, I don't think that Kobe Bryant is worried about LeBron James coming to play with the Lakers. I think that he just wants what's best for LeBron, and he wants him to understand what it's going to take to rule the kingdom of Wakanda, aka the NBA, and Kobe is just that panther crawling out of the tree to bless him with that quote-unquote divine knowledge. It is what it is. So peace.